Yes, people, what's happening? And welcome to the Frankie Allen Podcast, episode 34. You are here with your host, Will Cranny, alongside not only the UK's most feared comedian, Frankie Allen, but who else have we got here, Dad, today?
Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan, what's happening? How are you doing, lads?
Very good, how are you?
Good. Well, a lot of people, this is the first time we've done a podcast since we restarted doing these in the studio at the start of the year. Obviously, a lot of you have seen the vlogs going out, but it's the first time we've done a podcast with a guest. And obviously, just to mix it up, Dad, we figured that involving a puppet in the podcast would just be like a novel idea that would be very different, didn't we think?
I was watching, it was a documentary about puppet shows, how they get rid of it. What they do with the string normally, they've got a spray. They spray the string and it stops the camera picking it up somehow. But today, Jack's volunteered to come along without his strings, which is great.
Yeah. So you good, Jack?
Yeah, thanks so much for that lovely introduction.
No, it's fascinating to like see a puppet, like the way a puppet interacts on a podcast.
Honestly, right, I don't know where this come from.
Well, that's what I'm curious about. So for anyone who doesn't know, look, it's an inside joke. If you watch the vlogs, you'll be very, very aware of who Jack is. Jack works opening up as a comedian on some of our shows. He's doing his own thing all over the globe at the moment, internationally on cruise ships and all over everywhere. Basically, he's a Scout comedian. He's an international comedian, but we have a piss take saying that he's also a human puppet, and you don't know where it came from.
Well, honestly, I don't know where it come from. That's why I always say I just roll with it and let you go ahead with it.
What do you reckon? Where do you reckon it's from, Dad?
It's anybody that you look at, really. It's like me when somebody walks past me in a club. You can pick on little defects in anyone, and all you do, you magnify them 1,000,000 times. Somebody might have a tiny little bit of a short neck, and they'll walk past me, and I'll say, "All right, mate, you're looking for your neck," making out, trying to pretending they've got no neck at all. With Jack, if you had a gun to your head, you had to say something. What does he look like? You scratch your head and you go, a little bit like a puppety.
Why do you think he looks like a puppet?
Because his jaw's so angular, his head very blonde. He's like Jason Donovan. Remember the singer Jason Donovan? He looks like Jason Donovan, but he looks as though someone has made a TV show, which is kind of like a puppet show, and they've made Jason Donovan into a puppet. That's what he looks. And it's his movements as well, because when Jack's on the stage, he keeps going like that.
No, this has went on too far. To be honest, we done
like a puppet.
There was a show in the beer cellar. It was a vlog that I watched last night.
Yeah, and
I'm dancing at the bar. Next minute, on the vlog, it started going, "Puppet on a string." This song.
He's my puppet.
That's it. He's my puppet. And I only got on, so I had to fast forward.
That song, if anybody wants to look it up.
Yeah.
I'm Your Puppet.
I'm Your Puppet.
It was called, yeah. And there was also Puppets on a String. Wasn't it a song by Sandy Shaw?
Yeah, it's true.
So there's a few. We can use that next time we get him on the vlog or the podcast or whatever we do. We can always put that theme tune on before he comes out.
That's what the editor has been doing.
I'd rather you stop it because people already stop me and say, "Oh yeah, I've seen you on the Frankie Allen vlogs," and I only went to. Didn't I told you I only went to get my suit taken in yesterday?
Oh yeah, so fill us in about that.
And I was in the cubicle getting it putting it on, putting the suit on, and I heard them say, "Oh, if he's not funny, there's nothing down for us," or whatever they said.
Yeah.
And I said, "All right, have you seen me before or something?" And they went, "Oh yeah, I've seen you on the Frankie Allen vlogs." Imagine if they started all calling me a puppet. So swerve it now.
No, it's just a bit of a laugh. Okay, move on to something else then.
If anyone sees Jack in the street, feel free to call him a puppet. You know that he looks like the star of Team America World Police. My dad reckons he looks like Tex Tucker from Four Feather Falls. Who I don't even know who it is. Or Captain Blue from Captain Scarlet.
It doesn't matter. People can look it up on YouTube, and when they look it up, they'll piss themselves when they'll see a startling resemblance. The only thing Jack needs is a cowboy hat and a horse called Rusty.
Do you hate the puppet thing, Jack?
I just don't even know where it come from.
It's fucking belter.
A lot of people actually say he looks like Jason Donovan, the singer from the 90s. Remember him?
A lot of people say you look like Vinnie Jones.
That's true. Yeah, well, that's okay.
And Will. Peter Andre.
Nah, nobody's saying I look like Peter Andre. I'm better looking than Peter Andre, man. I've got a better six-pack than him as well. So listen, Jack hasn't been on the podcast since January of 2021. A lot of things have changed since then. As we said, the vlogs are absolutely flying at the moment, and Jack has been involved in plenty of those vlogs.
Yeah.
It's funny because obviously me and my dad watch the vlogs. You're kind of like a special guest in some of them, because there's some that you're not involved in, there's some that you are involved in, but you actually really like them yourself. From like, I'll phone you sometimes and you'll be sitting there and you'll go, oh, I've got this on in the background, it's hilarious. But my dad doesn't find it as funny as me and you do.
I just think all the little things that are added to it, it's like watching, I said to you on the phone, it's like Family Guy and stuff like that, you know, where it's like there's little jokes, inside jokes, but the people, when they watch it, will get onto it. I think they're great. I think they're brilliant.
Yeah.
Um,
And each one's different. Each club that we go to is very different. The journey there is very different. I think they're very entertaining, yeah. I've never slagged them, have I, really?
No, but a lot of people will say, oh, you're a lot funnier than, you know,
I can't understand how people say, we're just in the car, just going to a gig. We're not trying to be funny or trying to make it humorous or having a laugh even. But I've had people say to me, stop me and say, fucking hell, that vlog was hilarious. And I go, oh, and I've watched it again and go, what did he mean? Where's the funny part of it?
I think they're hilarious.
Yeah. It's great. I think that obviously years ago, people who'd watch, you know, concerts, famous people, everyone was hooked on interviews, weren't they? Like that, what was his name? Parkinson. Who used to do
Michael
interviews.
Parkinson, everybody came on a one-to-one interview. I mean, what's strange about this kind of whole podcast thing that I think's funny, even when you watch people, you know, like that Dana White was on last night doing his podcast, the UFC fella. People like got earphones on in a podcast. I mean, the technology, even from the 80s, you don't need to have earphones on.
Yeah, that's true.
You just have, they're just like, it's a prop, it's just showing you, I'm on a podcast, I've got earphones on. You have overhead booms, which are 15 feet in the air, that can pick up even if you drop a pin on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, in a TV studio, for years and years, when I done TV, when I did Up Knocks, you know, they've got like a microphone behind you that you can't see. I mean, and now everyone's sitting there with these fucking big headphones on. You don't need them. It's like when you see a lot of these TV commentators that are watching that now during the Euros and things. Yeah. You see them sitting there, fucking big headphones on. Yeah. Totally not needed.
Yeah, but maybe in a ground like that where it's loud and stuff.
No, it's not. It's a prop. What they're saying is, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm commentating on the match. But if they all broke down and they took them all off, all he'd have to do is put a handheld fucking mic behind them.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
The whole thing is fucking just a prop. It's ridiculous.
Anyway, we're talking about the last time Jack was involved in the podcast. A lot has changed and people have been loving the vlogs. People have been loving Jack's involvement in the vlogs. The vlogs are flying. If you haven't seen them, they come out every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Get on them. They're fucking hilarious. But I'm interested to know, I was asking my dad on the way here, have a lot of people been getting onto you recently? Because, you know, they're getting thousands of views every single time. So do you get stopped often, or like, are people getting on you a bit more now?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know what I'm like? I don't really put videos up of me on social media or anything. I just go and do my gigs and come home. I'm not really very good at that. But with the vlogs and stuff, obviously I'm in them, aren't I?
Yeah.
And I'm not. We don't put much of us up on stage, obviously, do we? But the thing is, backstage, I was just about to say this before, people don't get to see it. When they're buying a ticket, they get to see your stage act and that's the end of it, don't they? Whereas people are getting to see
your proper personality.
Yeah, and you can be funnier off stage than you are on sometimes. You never know. Everyone's different, aren't they? And I think that it gives you a good... That's why I really enjoy watching them myself. I mean, I was away last week, so I couldn't watch it until last night. But the vlog was great.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
I just love watching it. Love watching back. I've been on ships in, I don't know, the Caribbean, and someone stopped me and said, you were on the Frankie Allen vlog, and they know because they've watched the vlog.
Yeah. Do people still remember you as a singer? Because no. Jack was a singer originally, wasn't he?
I've got this listed.
I know you transitioned.
In our little, in my timeline here. So first of all, I want to know the story. Obviously, you've been an entertainer for a long, long time. As my dad said, you transitioned from being a singer to being a comedian. But what the fucking hell did you end up being called Jack Ryan for? Because
That is a good question.
we're having a laugh here. Because, like, obviously, if you Google Jack Ryan comedian, you come up first. But, Dad, can you give a bit of insight as to what other people will find when they type Jack Ryan?
Jack Ryan is a best-selling novel, a series of novels by an author called Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
Absolutely worldwide. I think he's died now, Tom Clancy. I don't think he's, but he's like multi-million-dollar franchise
Yeah.
of the Jack Ryan
That's why
books.
I laugh. It'd be like
So,
me being a
I
comedian
mean-
and saying, and I'm a comedian called Harry
So,
Potter.
I mean, I don't know why. Yeah,
Harry Potter.
I know, it's strange. I don't know why, touch wood, and I'm not wishing it on you, but no one's ever approached you and said, stop using the name Jack Ryan. Because if you kind of did get on the TV and you got, or whatever, or you got a video that went viral, you became very famous, I think they'd actually tell you to stop using the name.
I did have a video that went viral, didn't I? Which was terrible news.
Oh, we'll speak about that
that's
later.
another story, that
The
one.
Jack
But
Ryan
what I'm
thing-
saying is, you've been lucky, really, because no one has ever mentioned it, have they?
No, but I'll tell you where it
At the
comes
same
from.
time, why not call yourself Jack Ryan?
Well, I liked it because
I'm interested because that's not
What-
obviously not
where
your...
does it come from, the name Jack Ryan? You're not inspired by the books, though, are you?
No, let me tell you, I've never watched that Jack Ryan thing.
Did you
on
know
it.
of it? Had you heard about it?
No. And I was gutted when I found out about it. Because
hell.
obviously,
How did you find out about it?
I don't know, just seen it on Netflix one day or something.
Yeah, but I mean, not being funny, that's like, so I started off on the clubs and I started working as a comic. And I started calling myself William Shakespeare. And someone said, there's a William Shakespeare,
Yeah.
Look, I think it's a
"You're
boss
kidding,
name,
aren't you?"
truth be known, everyone
Yeah.
says it. But the point is, started off singing when I was a kid on
Yeah.
the clubs, following me dad into the business and whatever.
As your full name, normal name.
No. My middle name is Daniel, so we used to use that name. But everywhere I turn up at, it used to say on the poster, Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels?
Yeah.
Hang on, where are we going with Jack Daniels?
It's my real name.
No, it's Jack Edwards is your real name.
No, it's not.
Is it Jack Daniels?
No. Do you want to tell people your real name?
Fuck is this? What's going on here? What's his real name?
This is going in another direction. This
Oh
now.
my
His
God.
real name is a perfect comedy name.
What is it?
Jack Davidson.
Oh, really, is
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
You know this?
Yeah.
Jack Davidson. So where does the Jack Daniels? Could you call yourself Jack Daniels? Because there's a comedian
loved it.
called Jack Daniels going round at the moment.
This is this is let me get
Is
to
it?
this
Go on.
point. Okay.
Yeah.
Jack Daniel. Daniel is my middle name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call myself Jack Davidson because obviously
Jim Davidson,
and
yeah.
all that. I didn't really want to be called my real name anyway. Jack Daniel. Everywhere was turning up at Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Like your dad just said, there was another act going around with that name,
Yeah.
Jack Daniels, and he was a comedian. Well, was he a comedian?
Yeah, we worked
Is he
with him a few
comedian? Worked
times.
with him,
Yeah.
yeah.
Robbie, his name is.
Yeah.
Robbie, Jack
So
Daniels.
we changed it there and then. So it was really, I was going out as a singer as Jack Ryan as well. And then I stopped singing. And I've just kept Jack Ryan. I've always been called that.
Belter.
It's
And-
well better than,
No, I, to be fair, if there wasn't a book of Tom Clancy, I do think it's a good name as a stage name. But also alongside this, obviously we've cleared up what the fucking name is.
Yeah.
But there's another person in the business called Jack Ryan, is there not?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Didn't you have beef with him over the
What,
post?
another cabaret artist?
No.
A singer or a comedian?
No, I think he's like a promoter.
Go on.
Jack, what happened with him, man?
What was the story there, Jack, with Jack?
Go on.
I got a phone call from a comedian in Benidorm
Yeah.
saying to me, any chance you're free on this date to do a gig? I can't do it. It's in a pub in Southport. And I went,
Okay.
well, Southport's already lived around the corner. I'll do it. I don't mind.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, sort of learning everything off your dad, thinking that I could just roll my sleeves up and get stuck in and go anywhere.
Yeah.
So the thoughts of doing a theatre or a pub the following week or a cruise, I wanted to do everything. So I took this pub on
Yeah.
and he said, I'll get back to you with the details.
Is this Jack Ryan or does he come
No,
into
this
it?
is a comedian from Benidorm. And he's a nice guy and all that, a very good comedian over there. Anyway, he never got back to me and he never confirmed the booking. Then I got this text on Facebook one day just saying, Jack, are you messing us around? Are you not coming to do this gig at all? The comedian in Benidorm's name he put.
Yeah.
He told us you'd be here.
Fucking hell.
And basically, long story short, because I never knew anything about it, I sent her a message straight away saying, not being funny, love, don't know about it. I know that you originally inquired, but never got confirmed.
Yeah.
I said, I'm free. I'm sat on the couch. I'm not working.
Yeah.
And was that the night of the gig?
No, it was the day before.
Yeah.
Okay.
She went, you've been texting us back and forth saying that you could do it. We've texted you here saying the comedian from Benidorm has recommended you. We've told you the price that you agreed with that comedian. You've agreed to it. We've put your posters up. We've been advertising you all month.
And this was the other fella, the other Jack.
Yeah. He said, you've just sent us this message and screenshotted it. And it said, I cannot do the gig. I have got a chest infection or whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So I didn't know there was another comedian called Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
But it turned out he fully went with it that a comedian from Benidorm had recommended him.
Is he a comedian?
And he also, he fully went with it that my picture was getting advertised. So he was going to turn up, his bottle must have went last minute and thought, I can't turn up and pretend to be
somebody else.
That's what he was doing. He wasn't an actual working comedian. What he was doing, he just, to make a few quid, he thought, Jack Ryan, I'll use that name.
He was a comedian.
He was a working comic.
Well, if I went on YouTube and found a video, but...
So what's happened to him now?
God knows. But I said to her, look, don't know what's happened with that fella, but I'm coming to do the gig. If you want me, I'm off, I'll come and do it. And I went and done it.
Belter.
But it was a crazy story because at the time I was like, oh my God, what a story. Like, I didn't even know there was someone else with that name.
Yeah.
I obviously thought about sending him a message saying, what the fuck, but I never.
So what happened? You had no contact with him? You never spoke to him?
No.
Did you go and do the gig?
Yeah.
And what was it like?
It was all right.
Did he get paid okay, though? That was the thing.
Yeah.
Or did he put himself in? Did he offer himself in for like lousy money?
No, same fee. It's just terrible, isn't it? It's a crazy story.
That's amazing, that.
So obviously, look, a lot of you will be aware of Jack. We've done a podcast back in 2021, which is a bit more long-winded, talking about Jack's journey and, you know, his entertainment backstory and how he ended up being a comic. You know, if you want to go back and listen to that, you can do it. But what I'm interested in, just quickly, is obviously originally a singer, been in entertainment your whole life, decided to be a comic at what age? And I've been in the game now doing comedy for a long period of time.
Well, I was singing from when I was 14. I was gigging every weekend, always like treated it as a proper career.
Yeah.
Like a job. I knew I was going to do it. And then I just, without going into it too much, because obviously, as you just said, we spoke about it on the first podcast. I worked with your dad a few times. And don't get me wrong, I watched your dad and other comedians, and I never ever thought I will be a stand-up comedian. I always used to tell jokes while I was singing and stuff, and I was getting booked back because I was doing
some of the little bits of comedy they liked you for,
So, and then it turned into coming on, opening with a song, and then finishing with a song and telling loads of jokes. Anyway, long story, when I was 20, I thought, it was your dad really who said you should go for it. If you're enjoying it and you're going down well, just go for it. And obviously, same old story, comedians get paid more money and whatever. And the best thing about it, let me tell you, is when you're a singer, you got to get to the venue at 7, set all your equipment up, make sure it sounds correct. Wait round till 9 o'clock, go on. 15-minute break after you've done 45 minutes, go back on, do another set, then strip all your equipment down. Not getting home until 1 a.m. Comedians have got it the best. Fly in with a suit, grab a mic, do your show, and then you're in the car. You haven't got to take anything in.
You can double up. You can go to another venue. You can make twice the money in one night.
Yeah. So, I was sat with your dad every week. We were going through material. We were talking about things. It takes a long time to put a 45-minute show together, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, Jack, you had the outline yourself, didn't you, what you wanted to do, because you'd watched a lot of comics. So when I first went to see you had a script already kind of written, really.
Yeah.
And you're still doing some of that stuff, aren't you?
I don't know.
Was you and my dad mates through like singing or?
Well, no,
what?
I first met Jack in St. Basil's Club in Widnes. His dad, Fast Eddie, he'd been a DJ there for many years. So I was a mate of his dad's, and I think I was on with Mickey Finn.
Yeah.
A great comedian, God rest his soul, great comedian. I was on with him one night and I met Jack and we got talking and stuff, become mates. But I think at the time, he wasn't really even toying with the idea of becoming a comic. He was just a singer. So
yeah, I wasn't.
But did you approach him about it then?
No, I didn't suggest to him to be a comedian. Yeah. It's something he came up with himself. And I spoke to him on the phone once and he said, I want to do some comedy. I've written a script out. And I think he got yourself a couple of gigs, hadn't you, to try it out?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, that's the most nerve-wracking thing ever.
What was your first gig, Jack? Can you remember?
Me and you did, all three of us did the show together in the Derry Club. Do you remember it? In Liverpool.
Yeah, I remember. Mickey Finn was on it as well.
No.
I'm sure Mickey Finn was on it. I've got a voice recording of Mickey Finn going on. Mickey Finn went on after me.
Oh yeah, I mustn't have been there that night.
I remember, I've done a show in the Derry Club. Where is that?
In Mere Lane, it's in Everton.
Yeah. Now, before I got there.
No, I've never done that Derry Club show. I've been with my dad while he's been on that Derry Club. I've never done it. Yeah.
I was there. Anyway, when I first did it as a comedian,
yeah,
I turned up in my suit and it was pitch black at night. It was like a winter's night.
Yeah.
And they said, go through the fire exit at the back.
Where was this?
Derry. The Derry Club.
And were you on with me that night or on your own?
I was on my own.
Okay.
And I remember walking down the side of the club in pitch black. And I don't know why, there was this massive like concrete brick. And I went right over it, flew over it, cut all my arm open.
Oh my God.
And I remember being on stage and just blood was just coming down.
Oh,
fucking messing.
Yeah, and I just had to get through it. But anyway, it was nerve-wracking because you're just praying you can remember all your material.
Yeah.
When you've been doing it for years, obviously it's different, isn't it? You're more confident. But
so when you stop being a singer and you were like, how do you get involved in this, Dad? Did you both used to sit together and do boot camps? For anyone who doesn't know, my dad's the king of comedy boot camps. He used to get me to stand in front of him with a fucking mic and go through material, all the time, didn't you? Did you do something similar?
I'm the king of boot camps because Will wanted to be a comic a few years ago. For about
10 years, more than 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
In your living room, using a microphone and no PA system set up. We got a script together. We went through the script, rehearsed it. We went to a comedy hot water. What was it called? A club of
Frog and Buckets.
Yeah. Went to a Frog and Bucket, kind of an open mic.
No, first we went to the Comedy Store, then we went to the. I've done the Comedy Store and the fucking Frog and Bucket. The Comedy Store's when that fucking started being weird.
Was that the one that you went to? That's what I'm saying. You went to the Comedy Store and brought the fucking house down.
Yeah, and he started being weird to me on stage.
Well, he started shouting. I don't like him. He started shouting out at you, "This isn't your material.
Yeah.
Where did you get this material from?" So then I stood up, didn't I?
No, I was standing there on stage. Now, look, if anyone hasn't been to it, if anyone doesn't understand the comedy circuit, my dad and Jack tell traditional punchline gags. And, you're not meant to do that. It's like frowned upon in a weird way, isn't it? And like on like the
by the comedy place, the kind of alternative places
on like the comedy club circuit. So I just did this like gong show, and I just stood up and just started. I was only 19. I was 18 or 19. Yeah. I just started telling gags, it was all stupid gags like wipe your feet on the way out and all them like
house was so scruffy and all that. Yeah.
And then he just turned around to me on stage and said what did he say? He was emceeing and he turned around and said, this isn't your material. This isn't your material. Like shouted down the shoulder mic.
He was the MC.
I'm only nervous
very
kid.
Unprofessional. He more or less heckling you, and he was the MC.
Yeah, while I was on stage, I just said to him, "I usually work on my own, mate. Only because I've seen my dad do it loads of times."
Yeah, but it worked well. His bottle went down, and you got a big laugh with it, and you brought the fucking house down. Will was proud of you.
Yeah,
I don't like. Yeah, I mean, he was out of an MC. To heckle an act that's on stage and he's supposed to be the compere, that'd be the most unprofessional thing you've ever seen.
Yeah. Anyway, Jack, fill us in about what my dad did with regards to a boot camp with you. Did he do one? Did he get you working or what happened?
I've just thought of something while you've just been talking about that.
Go on.
When you were being a comedian and as you were doing it and just coming to an end of not doing it anymore because you were going to give it a miss, I started doing it then.
Okay.
Because I remember doing shows with you and your dad.
As a singer or a comic?
Well, I remember doing St. Bennett's with...
I thought you were a singer on that show.
Well, no, because I come on with a song and finish with one.
Okay.
Started doing jokes.
Got you.
And then I come on, then you did, then your dad.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that night.
Yeah, it was a good night. You done really well that night.
Did I? Yeah.
You were great.
Fair play.
I loved those days. It was so long ago.
I'm sorry, really. You stopped being a comedian because you were very, very good.
Yeah, but was just not what
it
makes me
what
heart
you were cut out to be.
It
must have been 15 years.
That's 15 years ago, man. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
So what I want to know is, did you two used to sit together and write gags, or how does that even come across?
People don't really know much about Jack Ryan. Not only as a comedian, he's also a booker, an agent.
Yeah.
And he used to put shows on, and he had an office up in McGull. So I went up to the office a few times, and he'd already got a skeleton of a script that he was prepared. So he's going to do, he's preparing it all. So I just added to it, and we went through it together. And he just went on from there. To be honest with you, there's no one else apart from myself, you know, kind of not put myself on a different level or trying to be big time or whatever, but locally, there's only kind of Jack. I can't think of any other comedians who are doing young people. I'm trying to say there's no young people who are doing mainstream. What would be termed now as kind of old-fashioned comedy, is there?
Today's episode is brought to you by Skalptec, the leaders in scalp micropigmentation treatments. As you may know, Frankie himself has had the treatment done. He was bald and he couldn't go for a hair transplant due to weak donor hair. Now, he looks like he has a full head of hair, but has just chosen to shave it. It's taken years off him. He looks more like me brother than me dad now. Frankie, tell us, how's life been since you got your hairline back?
It's life-changing. It really is. I'm not one of these fellas that, you know, kind of exaggerate or tell lies. It's life-changing. The answer to my prayers, I was kind of fucked up over my hair like a lot of fellas are for many, many years. Tried different things, went down the road, transplantation, didn't want to work, you know, it didn't work for me, and tablets and whatever. This is the greatest thing that you're ever going to get done to your head. Get it done. Skalptec.
Skalptec offers a cutting-edge solution to hair loss that looks natural. Whether you want to add density to thinning hair, cover up scars, or create a full hairline, Skalptec has got you covered. Our mate, Terry Jones at Skalptec, he is the best in the business. He's won the UK Scalp Technician of the Year award 3 times, so you're definitely in safe hands with him. They have locations all over the UK, including Bearscough near Liverpool, Newcastle, London and Shrewsbury, as well as Jersey and Rotterdam. They're really close friends of ours, and without them, we couldn't make this podcast happen. Mention the Frankie Allen Podcast to get a special discount on your booking. Visit skalptec.com to learn more and book your free consultation today. All the details, including the link to book your consultation and the contact information, are in the show notes or the video description.
Get it done. You won't regret it. Look at me. Proof of the pudding's in the eating. I've got no hair really. Look at it. It's fabulous. It's great. Get it done.
Thanks to Skalptec for sponsoring today's episode. Now, let's get back to the show.
No,
Can you
right.
think of anyone?
I mean, there's
most
plenty.
people are doing kind of like the, you know, comment. What was it? Alternative. I don't even understand it. What's your name? Where are you from? And all, you know. But show some love. What the fucking hell is that all about?
Storytelling, you
Well,
mean?
hang on. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a good few comedians out there still doing one-liners, and there's a
Yeah.
massive audience for it. People love it.
That's what it's called, a one-liner comic,
and,
innit?
and
Yeah.
So am I a one-liner? Is that it?
well, yeah, basically, you
Okay.
coming on telling
They call it
jokes.
dad jokes, don't they?
Yeah,
Well,
but
that's what they call it, yeah.
who else is doing it?
Gary
You know?
Delaney, Tim Vine.
Jimmy
Okay.
Carr.
Does Jimmy Carr do jokes like that?
Of course he does. If you
Does
not
he,
watched him, yeah.
Nah, I've
yeah,
never
he's
really
very
watched
good,
him,
but
man.
The thing
Does
is,
he do proper gags, yeah?
yeah.
I thought he told stories.
No, he tells
No?
jokes.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, I think he's kind of half and half, isn't he?
Don't know.
Yeah, he
I've
does
never
watch
really
him.
He's
watched
very
him.
good, very good. I think he's great.
Go on.
But I think, look, I used to get all wrapped up in it. I don't care.
Did you
anymore.
get nervous when you first went out on stage, Jack?
Yeah, of course I did. Christ.
Yeah.
No,
But to
but
answer
like,
your question,
go on.
we used to meet in tapas, didn't we?
Yeah,
On South Road in
yeah.
Crosby.
Yeah.
And we'd always order like a soup, about 7 lattes, and we'd be sat there talking through scripts. We used to
Like
love
a
it there,
script.
didn't we?
Yeah.
And that is where, like your dad said, skeleton of a script. And every week I was going to do the gigs and then coming back and we'd meet in through the week and we'd be going through the material. It was great.
Belter.
And it sort of set me up to be doing what I'm doing now.
So-
And I would think,
You've been a comic for how many years? About 8 years, is it now?
no, since I was 20 and I'm going to be 30 this year in
Fucking
September.
hell,
10
10
years.
years.
Okay.
Now, this segues me into my next point, which is basically what my dad was saying then, is it's not cool or in vogue to do the style of gags that you both do, is it?
Tell one-liners.
Yeah, but there's a huge market for it. And I keep banging on to you about this all the time, saying the sky's the limit. Keep doing what you're
But
doing.
it's not in vogue with the elite, the liberals, you know, the kind of like university educated, public school kind of TV people who they hate that kind of old English comedy. They don't want to hear it. So they've invented this alternative stuff that they've convinced themselves is funny, but they won't really entertain any other style, the old style of comedy. To them, they try to kill it and to bury it.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not in vogue. It's not,
Yeah.
it's
Not in vogue,
It's
yeah.
not. You know, it's not like if you said to someone, "Oh, I'm a gag teller," it's not like, oh, isn't that fantastic? Like, you know, you wouldn't get a pat on the back
No,
for
it's not
it.
PC.
No,
That's
but
why.
No,
here's
it's
the
not
thing.
that it's not PC. Go on, Jack.
Here's my take on it, and I think it's just crazy. Just because it doesn't matter. You're a comedian, you get paid to make people laugh. As long as you go on stage and make people laugh, whether you were, I've seen people blow up a balloon and put it over their head, and everyone's in stitches over it, or they're doing that thing that, you know, Peter Kay does where it's misheard lyrics, where they showboard lyrics sounds the same as something else.
Yeah.
As long as you're making people laugh, but honestly, like, you're not going on and doing someone else's act as a one-liner comedian or telling jokes. But then there's comedians out there now that are have not got any of their own material, and they're going out as a tribute to a comedian, which I think's crazy how they're able to do, because don't get me wrong, a lot of tribute acts that we work with, isn't there? People go on like an ABBA band.
This tribute
do ABBA's
thing
set.
has gone crazy.
It's not illegal. You can do it. But as a comedian going on, no digs here, by the way, I'm just saying, doing a tribute to someone and doing the material and not doing your own stuff is, I'm not saying it's bad, obviously, but it's just strange, isn't it? It's allowed.
It's very strange. But I just want to say
There's
this. If I
someone
can.
going out doing me dad's gear.
Who is it?
Who is it?
I'll tell you after. You know him. You can't fucking hell.
I haven't mentioned anyone's fucking name. Could be
Sandy
Yeah,
Cross.
we'll have to cut that there.
Oh, fuck off, Will.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Has he shaved his head?
What I want to say is this. I mean, no, people are happy. You know, there are a lot of people, a lot of big stars have got tribute acts on. They're not suing them or putting them in court. It's a form of flattery. They're made up that they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's just that a lot of these tribute things now, it's gone too far. It started off, you know, I remember being in Bootle, and there was a board outside this fucking pub, the pub called a Jawbone, a dead rough fucking pub. And outside, it didn't say Billy fucking Edwards or Billy O'Brien or whatever, tribute to Rod Stewart. It just said, Monday night, 7:00, Rod Stewart. And that's what they're doing now. They're just Elton John, the Beatles. And I've spoken to people in Benidorm, you know, they go, oh yeah, who's on tonight? Oh, I'm going to see the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
It's not the fucking Bee Gees. It's like three fellas from fucking Bradford who are like miming to a few Bee Gees songs. How is it the fucking Bee Gees? But that's how they don't even bother now saying a tribute to. Anyway, this fucking board outside, I was walking past in Bootle, the Jawbone. So I was a walk in. So this fucking barmaid's behind a bar. I said, excuse me, love. I said, have you got Rod Stewart on tonight? And she went, yes, 7:00.
Yeah.
So I said, you've got Rod Stewart on here. She went, yeah. And all it was, you should have seen the stage of the fucking pub. Just a few like old men sitting there with pints of Guinness and a couple of scrubbers in the corner. So I said, you've got Rod Stewart on here at 7:00. She said, yeah. I said, is he flying in from LA? She said, what do you mean? I said, well, he lives in Los Angeles. Why would he be coming to the Bootle?
To do the Jawbone.
To do the Jawbone. Yeah. I said, so it's Rod Stewart. I said, let me just get, I got him so I got a picture that said, Rod Stewart, a multi-billionaire singer, worldwide recognised. He's coming onto the Jawbone tonight. Yeah. He's not doing like huge stadiums. He's not doing the Hollywood Bowl. He's not going to Ibiza. He's doing the Jawbone. And she went, well, I don't know. We've got him booked anyway, Rod Stewart.
Fucking hell.
That's how bad it's gone.
Fucking hell. I don't know why we've ended up with talking about tribute acts, but basically, Jack is a one-liner comic, which is, you know, as I always say, he's got a huge market for it, but it's not like the cool thing. So my question to you is, are you going to keep doing that? Is that like your thing now? Or do you know, because sometimes you dip in and out, don't you? And you go, oh, I would fancy doing some storytelling stuff. What's happening next?
Of course. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I ever do go down the road of trying to like sell my own show, or I don't know, go to the Fringe or something like that, I'm still going to tell one-liners.
Yeah.
But it's like all the unique stuff that I've got to me.
Yeah. That you've made up yourself.
Yeah, which I still do now on stage. But like, you know, I'm on the cruise ships now. I've got to come up with like 3 different shows and stuff like that. It's got to appeal to a family-friendly audience. So a lot of the stuff I write might be too naughty and too rude. I'd never be able to say it on stage on the ships and stuff like that. So back to what you were saying before about the help that I've had off you and your dad.
Yeah.
I think that like I took a gig in like a couple of years ago, and it was to a full American audience, 1,800 people in a theatre, Americans. I called your dad straight away. I was round at your dad's. We were talking. I've still got the recording on my phone now. I was showing you the other day, didn't I? Where we were changing all the material to suit
Americanise it. Yeah.
If you got a joke and you're talking about Asda shopping with your bird, no one's,
change to Walmart and stuff.
Change to Walmart. There was a gag I did about the punchline was something to do with glass clean, window lean. Well, they don't know what window lean is.
Windex, they
call it Windex, yeah. So I had to change it all. And when I went on and did it, and I was ringing your dad straight away saying, I fucking worked the treat.
Did it go well, yeah?
Yeah. But like, even that, you got to like...
Did you do the Eisenhower gag?
No, I wanted to, but I never did it.
Okay.
Slowing your speech down. First thing people were saying to me when I come off stage years ago was, you were good and you could see you were enjoying it and the audience loved you, but we couldn't understand the word you were fucking saying. You know, because Scouse and we talk quick and got to slow it down and all that. There's a lot of... What's the word? It's very technical, isn't it, really? You can think too much into it and then it's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
You've got to...
I mean, I'll be honest with you, for a young fella, you've had a lot of experience now with different audiences internationally as well. Yeah.
Decent. Well, obviously, you've learned a lot from my dad, as you were saying before. Yeah. I'd like to ask you an honest question, and I don't want to put you on the spot or make you feel like you're in any kind of uncomfortable position, but I'm just curious for anyone who's watching this. Obviously, you know my dad on a very personal level, but also from a professional perspective. Yeah. What do you think makes Frankie Allen stand out as a comedian, and why do you think, in your eyes, I'm not trying to speak for you, he's a cut above a lot of the other comedians out there?
Probably because he's had more stage time than most comedians, and he's been doing it for a long time. I mean, obviously we've all seen loads of comedians, we've worked with them and stuff. And I think that, the one thing I loved about your dad when I first seen him on stage and knew him as a person as well, is that he was able to work in any environment. So if he got invited on a nice theatre show, he knew what he was doing. If he had to stand on a chair in a rough pub to a room full of fellas on a Sunday afternoon who were all, having a few pints, that's doable as well. It was almost like it was every environment. He was adaptable. A lot of people, I've done a show with 3 comedians on. They're all, similar age to your dad, and the bottle's absolutely gone. They're shaking backstage and panicking, and I think that, I don't know, we can all be a bit nervous and whatever, but I just think your dad knew. Whenever I was working with him, it made me feel a lot more comfortable as well. Even if I'm shaking backstage, looking through the curtain, going, there's someone at the front row.
But when I first worked with you, Jack, you had long hair, didn't you? Long blonde hair.
Did I?
And you were calling yourself Jackie Ryan.
Daddy's being nice about you, dear.
I know. I get this all the time.
Supposed to be funny.
I get this all the time. On the vlog last week, I'm watching it, and your dad goes, Jack Ryan, he's a terrible comedian.
Yeah. It's just a bit of a laugh. What fucking hell, Will? We're not on trial. We're just having a bit of fun.
We're just having a bit of fun. Fucking hell.
Oh
what are you on about? So yeah, more so than anything, just like the amount of bottle he's got.
Yeah, and his style as well. I think this is what sells. People want to buy tickets to see your dad because he's so
outrageous and kind of like,
he's prepared to
not afraid to kind of really savage people, pick on people. A lot of people have got an attitude, where they go on, they'll only go so far. They get heckled, they'll only go so far, do a gag. But I kind of go over the top. That's what it is.
There's a lot of comedians, think about it, who've started out, give it a go, and then packed in. And that's, I think they've got a script. They do it like it's a play. They go on stage and they stick to it. And when things go wrong, what was that saying you always used to say to me if 3 police officers walked? What did you used to say? You used to say if 3 police officers walked in, you said they wouldn't say hello, hello, hello or something. Do you remember that?
The gag about the fella that found his bird in bed with 3 coppers.
No.
And he said hello, hello, hello. And she said, aren't you speaking to me?
No, it wasn't a gag. You used to just say it. You said if some comedians on stage, you don't know what to do when certain things happen. You've got to learn. And I think you sort of drilled that into me from early days. And I was always prepared to, even if I knew I was having a bad time, stay on stage, don't walk off. There's so much to learn, isn't it?
People don't read. It's very, very complicated, very complex. being a comedian on stage, so many things to take into account.
Yeah.
Belter. On that note, obviously I've asked Jack his opinion on what you as a comic.
Yeah.
In all honesty, like, I know that you say stick to your guns, keep doing one-liner gags, all that type of stuff. How far do you reckon, honestly, if Jack put his heart and soul into it, could he go?
Well, he's young enough to kind of like go all the way, be big time. And one good thing I think I like about Jack is people don't realise or they don't remember. Jack was a kind of a very, very good, excellent singer, a very good singer, kind of like a Michael Bublé. Hang on, what are you fucking laughing at?
I laugh because he says every time you mention him as a comic, you always mention him being a singer.
Well, hang on, I'm trying to illustrate a fucking point here.
A lot of the comedians were singers.
What the fuck is this? You were a singer for years. Can't I mention that?
Yeah, that sound going.
How long were you a singer for, Jack? How many years?
6 years.
6 years, but I can't mention that.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, Jack was a singer for 6 years. Now, what I was trying to say before you fucking jumped on me, a lot of comics, when they become comics that have been singers previously, they kind of hold on to the singing as a life belt.
Yeah.
They open up with a song. Barry Manning done it. He was a singer originally. Open up with a song. Do a song in the middle of the act. Do a song at the end. If they're having a bad time, they burst into song and just do a load of songs. Now, as far as I know, Jack lives or dies on his comedy. He goes on stage, he does his material. If he's having a bad time, he doesn't start singing. He doesn't revert back to the old Jack Ryan, the singer.
Yeah.
So that's something where he's cut his ties with his old act, his old singer. He's not trying to do the two. He doesn't use the singer to help him out if he's got a strange or a weird audience or a hard audience. So you've got to admire anybody who says to themselves, look, I'm a comic now. I used to be a singer. I used to be a magician. Whatever I used to be, this is me now. You know, accept me for being a comic and sticks to his guns. And that's what he's done.
I think, you know, with the equipment side of things, you know what I'm like when we get to the venues with your shows.
Yeah.
Sometimes the equipment, we need to fiddle with it to get it right.
Yeah.
I was so particular about the sound and making sure I had the right equipment. I used to spend so much money on equipment for singing and stuff. And then when I stopped doing it and I was just walking into venues, picking up a microphone, I wouldn't dream of singing just because I knew a lot of the systems that they used to give us to use as a comedian was just good enough to speak through.
Yeah.
So I never ever sang. But it is a big thing because think about it. I was in a position where I had a full diary where I was working as a singer and I had to just go, no, I'm not taking any more bookings in and people used to still ring me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, Jack, you must have come across venues where you've gone on and they've been a hard audience for comedy and you've known instinctively, you thought, fucking hell, if I sang a few songs here, I'd be bringing the house down.
Well, yeah, and you know when you've just said do a song in the middle?
Yeah.
Isn't it weird? We know this, but subconsciously, I don't know whether that's the right word, you can be, while you're singing a song, or even now while you're telling a joke that you've told hundreds of times, you'd be thinking about the next joke
Your
you're
next
going to be
routine,
telling, or
yeah.
your next routine. So when you're singing and you're singing a song you've sang tons of times, you're thinking about the jokes. You're thinking about the next joke you're going to tell. The song buys you time. And it worked for the first couple of months that I was doing it, and then I just had to stop it.
Yeah.
And I've never looked back.
Well, you
I've
moved
loved every
down
minute
to
of it.
what you call a comedy vocalist at first,
Yeah.
or
Half of them 6 years as a singer, I was going out as a comedy vocalist. But like I say, best thing ever happened to me. It's changed my life because I absolutely love it. And
I did the same. I was a comedy vocalist.
Yeah.
Only because, when I was starting in the 80s, what you had to do, a lot of the clubs they definitely wanted 100% 2 spots, 2 sessions. So George Beadle, who worked for Anfield Agency at the time, he said to me, I said, George, I've only got half an hour, stand-up comedy and impressions. I can't do another spot. He said, well, I can book it out. You get tons of work doing a comedy spot at 9 o'clock till 9:30, then going on at 10:30 singing. And this was even before the days of kind of backing tracks and whatever. It used to have organ and drums. You remember the organ and drums, don't you, Jack?
They're before my time, but I know what they are.
You know what they are? Every club had an organist and a drummer. So used to say to them, sing a few rock and roll songs and everyone would be up dancing. So comedy vocal, I was getting tons of work.
Yeah, because they can't afford a comedian, so they get a singer who tells jokes like that vibe.
Yeah.
Basically,
to be honest with you, isn't there an act, and we won't name him, but I'm sure there's an act that's going out and he books himself out as a
2
comedian,
different people in one
and it's
night.
a one person, innit?
Yeah.
I saw him booked. What are you shaking your head for?
I just hate talking about other people in the business.
Why? I'm not mentioning anybody's fucking names.
Go on.
I think people would be very interested if they knew that somebody was going out like a Jekyll and Hyde character, going on stage under this fucking name, singing, oh boy, I went up by the time I get to Phoenix. Then half an hour later, get introduced as someone completely fucking different. And people are looking at him and go, what's that the singer that was on 10 minutes ago? And they go, hi, my name's Tony Cardboard. I'm a comedian.
Gets 2 fees.
Yeah, fair play.
That's true, isn't it?
Fair play. I'm going to start booking you out as a singer then before.
Francesca Allen.
Anyway, big thanks to everyone for listening. Jack, have you enjoyed being on the pod with us today?
Yeah, really enjoy it. I mean, these vlogs give us and podcasts give you an insight of what the banter's like between us all on the regular.
I know, ruthless.
Through the week.
Ruthless. The only thing we're missing
Backstage.
out of this pack right now is young Dave, the legend.
Oh, Davey Ford.
The one and only. Anyway, listen, big thanks to everyone for watching. Just to let you all know, we are coming into the end of our sponsorship agreement with Skalptec. While Skalptec are absolutely fantastic, they are taking a break from sponsoring this podcast moving forward. So we are actively looking for a new sponsor. The podcast gets minimum 1,000 views a week, loads of eyes on you. You know, you get me dad to do a nice little readout during the show. And I'm sure you'll make a load of sales and a load of business for whatever business or company that you own. Get in touch with us. The email will be below in the description. And if you'd like to, you can sponsor the podcast moving forward. Won't cost you an arm and a leg, but it might cost you a couple of trackies from me dad. That's about it. Anyway, really appreciate you watching today. Whether you're listening to this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star review. It does go a long way. If you're watching on YouTube, please get yourself fucking subscribed. It does me head in, the fact that it gets thousands of views and very little subscribers. Dad, can you explain to Jack why it gets very little subscribers?
I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't get many subscribers.
I don't know.
Why is that?
You don't know?
No.
Because people don't know how to fucking subscribe. Because they're older fellas.
I get it.
The average
generational
age of the viewer is 45 plus. So please, as I always say to you lads, if you don't know how to fucking subscribe, get your missus, get your son, get your daughter to make it an account, get yourself subscribed, because it really, really does help. Dad, Jack, have you both enjoyed yourselves today?
Thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was very different than what we normally do. So a change is as good as the rest. It was great.
Nice one. And we'll see you on the next one. Just some closing thoughts. You might see Jack coming up soon on a vlog. They go out every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. And Jack, anything to say to the people before we finish?
Thanks for listening. And thanks for the chance to come on the couch.
Oh, you knew you was going to come up with some filth at the end, didn't you?
Oh, I didn't mean that fucking.
Just said he wanted to come on the couch.
I didn't mean that.
I didn't mean that.
Well,
you're
paranoid.
a fucking paranoid.
You are.
I didn't mean that.
Will's paranoid.
Oh my
What are you
God.
on about?
Going on about, she said there's a comedian going round that does a singing spot. You went,
Anyway, on that note,
you can't say that.
We'll catch you in a bit. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. In a bit, people.